Hi guys, it's Shade here. How's it going? Welcome back to Fanservice Friday. Today we're going to be continuing with Time Tenshi. Last time we finally discovered the commander behind Bunny and Mizuki's plot to mess with time, and it was, as I guessed, Michelle, who's now suggesting that Kenji go back in time and burn down his family's home because she thinks it would create a paradox. Well, I find that plan to be ridiculously bullshitty, because what she's asking him to do is pretty fucking callous, no matter how you look at it. I don't care if it does alter the timeline to help Kenji or anything. That's still fucking messed up. Like, I can understand her ideas behind it, but her method of trying to prove it is fucking ridiculous. Oh, sorry, I got a little upset right there. Calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. Just a game, just a game, just a game. Alright, so, let's see what the girls have to say. Before I could say anything, Rose and Kyo rushed up to me and took me in an embrace. I could feel them shaking. Rose, Kyo, have fun, you lovebirds. The door shut behind us and I led them both into the room. Rose sat next to me on the bed while Kyo took a chair nearby. I insisted that I sit on the chair myself, but she smiled and waved me back, saying that she found the chairs more comfy. We sat there in silence for a bit before I finally spoke up, wanting to get Mizuki's words off my mind. Rose nodded, as did Kyo, and they thought about it for a little bit. So, we could just cease to exist for you? Wouldn't your memories be altered to forget about us? I don't know. I would hope not, but at the same time, Kenji, think about it. Your parents raised you. They knew you your whole life. Literally, you've known us for a week. Seriously. I don't want to be harsh or anything. I mean, we both care about you a lot. And we really don't want things to go that way, but if it saves you from the emotional pain of not only losing your family, but killing them yourself, then please, by all means. That's not the only danger, you guys. I mean, think about it. I could totally ruin time, or die, or cease to exist, or something like that. There's a lot more than just you two. Those words made both of them flinch, so I tried backpedaling a bit. I care about both of you a lot. Whether it's been a week or a year, you've both been nothing but kind to me since we met. You've consoled me and treated me so well since I was dropped in your lab, and I really appreciate that. I do. The emotions swelling within me were conflicting and painful. It felt as if, no matter what, with this decision I was about to make, I was going to lose someone. I could change the future, or let the pain of the present continue forever. This was the opportunity Michelle was giving me. The fact that she knew I was the one who burned down my house seemed a bit suspicious to me. But if it was for the sake of whatever timeline she had in mind, I must not have noticed myself shaking, because soon Rose's arm was wrapped around my shoulder and Kyo was looking at me worriedly. She stepped away from the chair and sat on the edge of the bed, wrapping her arm around my waist and leaning on my shoulder, comforting me as well. Even when the moment comes, Kenji, we're here for you, okay? Always. Even though whatever time you end up in, we'll be here. I promise you. That's a hard promise to make, Rose. I'll make sure she keeps it. I looked up at Kyo. A melancholic smile on her face. I nodded. Okay. Thank you both. Really. I'll do everything I can. You have one choice to make, Kenji, and we'll both support it, no matter what. Kyo nodded, as did I. With that, there was a knock on the door. Dawn is almost here. You guys need to head back to your room. That was fucking fast. Gosh, already? Time is just all over the place today. Ironic, isn't it? I wouldn't say ironic. Just... now's not the time for poorly made jokes. Get on over to your room. Both of you. Now. Wait a second. I turned my head to face. Oh, damn, I gotta make a fucking choice? Oh! I'm sorry, Rose, I gotta go with Kyo. She's my spirit animal. Okay, Mizuki. Kenji? Kyo turned to me, watching Rose leave the room. Somehow I could tell that she knew Kyo wanted a moment with me. Kyo turned to face me, her head slightly tilted down. She was blushing. So, I kind of messed up before, and I never was good at making the moves anyways. Suddenly, she raised my chin gently with her hand. I smiled, understanding what she meant. It's okay, Kyo. You're doing just fine. I think I got it worked out. She leaned into me, holding my face by the cheeks gently as we locked lips. Oh my god, it's so adorable! Oh my god! Oh my god, I'm gonna start crying right now. I'm honestly gonna start crying right now. My body and my mind gasped, but I returned to her embrace. We both sat there for a moment, which felt like it lasted forever, until Mizuki cleared her throat and Kyo pulled away. What did I just say? Oh, come on, we didn't do any— Hush! Kyo, back to your quarters now, please. With a rosy blush on her face, Kyo smiled and winked again at me before dashing mischievously out of the room. Mizuki watched her run out, and then turned to me, smirking. She's your favorite then? I mean, say no more. Choosing between those two is like choosing between two brands of fine wine. Really, you can't go wrong. You're just lucky enough to get some. Am I correct on that? Yeah. I guess that's one way of putting it, simply. Complex romantic situations were never my forte. Congrats regardless. Now then, get some rest. Tomorrow is already here, but it hasn't completely risen yet. Right. Thank you, Mizuki. Of course. With that, she blew out the candle and stepped out of the room. I laid in the bed, thoughts still burning in my head, but somehow I still fell into a restless sleep. Well, now he knows. You had to tell him, didn't you? Trust me, I didn't want to, but it was either that or springing it on him just before he had to do it. You realize that doing so may alter the actual decision? He doesn't know all the details, so I'd say it'll still be fine. And if he pieces it together, Kenji isn't an idiot, Michelle. Even if he hasn't researched it as deeply, I'm sure he can piece together the consequences of altering time. It's a risk I was willing to take at this point. At this time, he deserves some sort of explanation. Whatever you say, Michelle. I just hope this goes how you think it will. Alright, I'll set up the coordinates. You two keep them in line. Really? Do you think we're honestly going to make some kind of break for it when the time window is the only way to get us back home? You have a point, I suppose. Still, I expect no funny business while I set this up, okay? Whatever, Michelle. Just get this over with already. The room went incredibly silent, except for Michelle's rapid tapping on the keyboards and screens, entering in all the information required to bring us back to the specific time and place. I was shaking. This decision, it was going to be one of the hardest I had made in my whole life. It shouldn't have been, but this fear of everything falling apart because of this one decision was... Alright, Kenji, it's ready. Now then, Kenji and I go through this alone. But! No buts! You can keep an eye on our actions using the monitor, but if you go through the time window to an alternate time yet again, you run the risk of overloading your endocrine system. And I won't let either of you take that risk. Both Rose and Kyo went silent, looking down at their still gigantic chests abashedly. Okay, let's get going. The white light in the center of the machine grew brighter as the time window opened. Before it had always seemed so welcoming, if not strange, but now, it only filled me with dread. Soon both Michelle and I stepped through, leaving everyone else behind. I took one last look behind me to see the others. Mizuki with her solemn yet knowing glare, Bunny with a wry, hopeful smile. Both Rose and Kyo were fighting back tears, but they waved me off. I felt as if I was going to a funeral march. And it didn't have to be this way. Soon we were within the time window, the world going fuzzy like it had the other trips. It took a while, Michelle just standing next to me, almost guiding me, but with a stern look on her face. Eventually, the world materialized once more, and I could see again. What I saw was my old neighborhood, my old house, completely as it was before the accident. But it isn't an accident. In the world that I was currently in and experiencing, this accident was something that was purposely caused by my hands. Now, Kenji. Michelle turned to me and bent forward, a serious look upon her face. On the ground, next to her was a bottle. Had that always been there? How long had she been planning this project? regardless of my thoughts, she picked it up. I don't want my motives to get in the way of this decision. This ultimately is your choice, and either way it goes, it will be greatly helpful towards my research. Your research is messed up, Michelle. I know how it seems, Kenji. But what I am doing is beyond who I am, and it is beyond who you are. Don't give me that! My hand clenched on the bottle, feeling its heat as the chemicals inside of it grew hotter from the flame. Don't pretend that you're better than what is happening here, Michelle. Sure, I'm one person, and it's pretty insignificant when it comes to the future, but if I do this, I'll be a murderer of my own parents, and if I don't, I could possibly be committing suicide. You don't know that. No, I don't, but you don't either, Michelle. We were silent, standing there staring at my home. A figure walked out of it, and away. I deduced this figure to be me from 1 week ago. I was starting to even think about seeing myself from a different time, but it wasn't something that I could ruminate on for long. Regardless of your misgivings, Kenji, this is your choice. Make it how you will. Either throw the bottle or don't. This is the last I will say about it. I just stood there for a moment, thinking hard about the events of this week. How many horrible things that happened, and all the great things that had happened as well. Getting to know Rose and Hyo, even Mizuki and Bunny, it had been such a strange yet wonderful experience. If I threw this bottle onto that house, it would all continue. But if I didn't, it could all disappear. Oh, fuck! Oh, God, I don't know what to do. I hate this. I hate not knowing what to do. Like, I need a minute. Okay. Throw the bottle. Sexy girls get a kiss with Kyo. Don't throw the bottle. You don't meet any of them. Bottle. Now, I also picked Kyo for this one, so let's see what happens. I stood there and thought of Kyo's words, of Mizuki's as well. About time being a river that we travel along, changing whatever we was before we would only alter what was ahead, right? As confusing as it was, I felt as if, for that brief second, that if I didn't know that I didn't throw the bottle, and I didn't cause the place to burn down, then somehow, someway, everything will work out. I set the bottle down, looking at Michelle sternly. I'm not doing this, Michelle. Michelle merely smiled, then picked up the bottle, grabbing a picture that was next to her, and dropping it in, dousing the flames. I knew I could count on you, Kenji. Now then, we gotta go through the time window. Things will change, so... Kenji, what's wrong? It's just... I feel weird and... Ah! A sharp pain hit my stomach and swirled through my body. I hunched over and fell to my knees, going faint. The sweat fell down my brow, and my ears rang loudly. I could hardly hear Michelle's words as I suddenly blacked out, the world disappearing. With that, Kenji vanished right in front of Michelle's eyes. She merely stood there for a moment, mouth agape, then suddenly shook her head, stepping towards the white light that appeared nearby. That wasn't supposed to happen. Michelle was awestruck as she stepped back through the time window, reversing back to the time with Kyo and Rose. She made it back to the lab, sensing the air around her was much more dense than before. Michelle, what's happening? It's a prediction I feared. The time we are currently in is collapsing, so our collective consciousness is also fading. In English, Michelle? We're slipping into a different flow of time's river. We'll gain a fragment of our memories, but things will be different. At least I hope that's what is happening. Essentially, time itself is trying to fix the paradox we just created, so this timeline, where all of us exist with our knowledge, is falling apart. So what does that mean for us? Michelle smirked as she collapsed over. As she did, the clothes of all the girls started just slowly disintegrating first, as they normally did when they were in other time than their own. We're going home, girls. To a new home that's the same, but so much different. I promise you. Everything is going to be... Oh! And with those words, the world went black. For a moment, reality seemed to be an empty void, like a comatose dream that could never be woken from. But eventually, Kenji's eyes flitted open. Seeing the ceiling of his bedroom, his old bedroom, from his old house. Well, what happened? Ugh, I feel sick. I leaned over, thinking I might throw up, holding a trash can in front of my face. I anticipated it, but nothing came. For a while, I just sat there, composing myself as the world stopped spinning. Where was I? Was I home? Was this home? I looked up and down. Yes. Yes, this was my old room, in my old house. But it never felt old. It was just the place I lived in. Suddenly there was a knock at my door. I crept open. A sweet voice rang from the other side. Kenji? Are you alright in there? Your grandfather wanted you over at his lab in an hour or so. Mom? Yes, dear. Are you feeling well? You sound sick. I sat there, a smiling crossing my face. As tears began to well up in my eyes, I quickly wiped them away. I'm fine, Mom. Thank you. So, Grandpa Tensai wants me over at his lab in an hour, then? Yes, dear. That's what he told me. Are you sure you're feeling alright? I can call him. No. No. I'm fine, Mom. Is Dad home yet? No, dear. He's still working. He has an overtime shift today. He'll be done by 11 o'clock. What time is it now? Around 6 o'clock. I was worried with how much you were sleeping today. Alright, I'll be back home then. I suddenly lunged forward, embracing her and laughing. Goodness, Kenji, what's gotten into you lately? Oh, just nightmares, I guess. Really, Kenji? You're 18. I'm sure you can handle some bad dreams by now. I pulled away from her and dashed downstairs, making my way down through the door. But before I did, I called back at her. You're right! I can! I'll be back home for dinner. I just gotta get to the lab. I practically did a marathon sprint all the way to the lab, fueled by adrenaline and joy. I made a mad dash to the field where the labs was, which surprisingly wasn't far from where I lived. Had it changed location, or was it always this close? I couldn't remember, nor did I care. Eventually I made it to the entrance and presented the call button. A voice rang out from the box. State your business. Grandpa, it's me. Kenji? There was a silence for a moment before the elevator dinged, the shutter door swiftly sliding open, beckoning me to come inside. I practically jumped inside, pressing the lowest floor button, hopping up and down in my anticipation to see the lab. Finally, it dinged again, sliding open the real Kyo standing at the doorway. Before I could say a word, she tackled me in a hug, laughing and crying at the same time. Oh my gosh, so glad you're okay! And we were so worried that something had happened, but at the same time we weren't, and it's just been so confusing for so long, but you're finally here. Yeah, I am. We stared at each other for a moment before Kyo pulled forward and kissed me, pulling back and smiling. I was a bit stunned, but smiled. This way! The others want to see you too, of course! Kyo took me by the hand, practically dragging me towards the lab and pushing the doors open. Inside was the whole crew. Michelle, Rose, and Tensai. The monitor was even on, showing Mizuki and Bunny in their own time period. So, you made it out alive. Michelle walked over to me, sauntering with a smirk before placing a hand upon one of my shoulders with a sigh. Good job, kid. You made me proud. Thank you, Michelle. I'm sorry I doubted you. I don't blame you, kid. The plan was crazy, but I believe you made the right choice, all things considered. Now then, I already have another plan on the way. Let me just boot up the time window and I'll set it in motion. Seriously, Michelle? Already? Kenji just got here. He's lucky to still have his memories from the past. I mean, even those are a bit fuzzy. Details may fade, but the important things are there to stay. You only lost a week, so the damage shouldn't be too severe. It's just nice to see you back, kid. Now then, time window. Kenji doesn't have to join, but if I want to see it. Suddenly a spark emitted from the time window. The picture on the screen fuzzed away, losing connection with Mizuki and Bunny. A low hum could be heard, an ominous noise that put me on edge, as well as everyone else in the room, even Michelle. Michelle, what is going on? Before Michelle could answer, the time window burst into a shower of light. Oh, that's not good. Michelle, who was standing closest to the window, screamed as half her body was engulfed by its embrace. But before it could take her anywhere, the power surge ended, and the window suddenly closed, closing shut. Michelle, caught in between our time and whatever the window was set to, suddenly burst into light with the time window itself, screaming at the top of her lungs as it did so. Michelle! Oh gosh, Tensai, do so! Before anyone could do anything, A loud sonic boom knocked everyone over and knocked me out cold. Ugh. My head. I stood, rubbing the back of my sore head. I looked around, seeing Rose and Kyo also coming too. Tensai stood next to me, helping me up as I regained my sense of reality. Grandpa, what? Well, I'm afraid that with every action in time, there is a reaction. No, you can't mean... I'm afraid I do. Michelle tampered with time. She tried to take control of it and used it for her own purposes. Good or evil, it didn't matter. I warned her about this and she shrugged it off. But time wanted to be sure that she would never interfere again. You're talking about time as if it's a sentient being and not just a concept, Tensai. Rose slowly stood, blinking hard so her eyes could adjust to the light. At this point, my dear, I'm not sure what time it is. All I know is that I have tampered with it enough for my age. Michelle knew how to use the time window even better than me, so I'm not sure what will happen now. What about Mizuki and Bunny? What will they do? They will find a way. I promise you. Why don't you seem shocked by all this, Tensai? Michelle just died right in front of us. I am very, very saddened by this, Rose. Despite not having the composure of this attitude, she was one of the best engineers and a close friend, but I warned her of her actions. You're not saying she got what was coming to her, are you, Tensai? It's so cruel. Time is cruel, in more ways than I could even imagine. He walked away, heading towards the lab's exit. May know this, Kenji, but this may very well be the end of our adventures with the time when... No. We all turned and looked at Rose, her hands clenched into fists, tears streaming down her face. Michelle would have wanted us to continue. She would have wanted us to use the time window and resume her legacy, despite the consequences and the risks. I'm not going to give up on this, Tensai, no matter what happens. You've seen the risks firsthand, yes, and I don't care. Michelle died for this. It wouldn't feel right to just throw it away. Silence fell in the room once more as we stared at her. Tensai let out a deep sigh, saying no more. I walked over to Rose and hugging her as she wept softly. Kyo walked over as well, embracing the two of us warmly. As we stood there, a light emitted from the time window yet again, but it was different this time. We turned our heads and looked, and we were shocked by what we saw. Well, are you guys ready or what? Oh! They're ending it right out of the cliffhanger! Aw, oh, man! Alright guys, well, that was Time Tenshi. One of the most interesting games I've ever played in my time. And since there's a sequel, which I actually have on my wish list right now, I may have to get that. But I'm gonna have to save that for another playthrough because I got another one coming up right after this, so... Alright, so thank you all for joining me for Time Tenshi. If you like this, subscribe if you're watching this over on YouTube, and follow me if you're on VidMe. Give it an upvote so other people can see and check it out. Oh, sorry, burped a little bit. And so they can have fun. So, until next time, guys, have a lovely day.